Hello everyone and welcome to James Turner's website. So today I am doing another James Turner Sims 4 build challenge and I'm using his generator on there. I haven't pushed the button yet, so let's find out what I get. So you are building a duplex house with 4 floors on a 20 by 15 lot. Oh no. Your owners are siblings. Well, that works with duplex. They love the beach and hoarding. They're afraid of cooking. Okay, must have their dishwasher. Your budget is $64,230 and optionally try using the pancakes house as a shell. All rooms and layout must stay. Okay. 64,000 for a 4-floor duplex house. This is going to be tricky. I don't know. Well, let's see how we go, and there we go. So I've got a couple of Sims there who are siblings, because that was part of the challenge, and I'm on a 20 by 15 lot. I thought about this afterwards and I realized that why didn't I build this in Solani? Because they like the beach, and I'm like, oh doy. Anyway, I kind of make it beachy, so it's fine. And yeah, we have our budget there. I did look at doing like the pancakes house as far as the layout and stuff goes, but just for a 4-story duplex, there was no way I could use the pancakes house for a shell. It just was not going to work. So I didn't do the optional part of the challenge, but as you can see here, I am doing the rest of it. 4-story duplex. So I'm just getting the shape of my duplex, and I did decide to do something that's quite modern. I did have an inspiration for this build. I found something that I thought would work. So yeah, I'm kind of building to that inspiration. But the thing that is really concerning in this particular challenge, thank you James Turner, is the amount of money I haven't got. Yeah, 60,000 for a 4-story duplex build. That is rough. It's yeah. I do think I'm going to have to use a bit of debug in this because I can't really afford to waste a lot of money on things that things like landscaping and stuff. And look, I mean, it's a tiny lot anyway. So I don't have a lot of room for landscaping. I'm just fussing around with like this top little roof thing that was in the inspiration. I'm trying to make it work. I'm not happy with it, but I'm getting there. I will get there in the end. And I did decide to use I think the half walls as an option for the roofing, which was more expensive than platforms, but it gave me more flexibility than platforms in terms of colouring and that sort of thing, and what I wanted to do there. And obviously I had to try and save money where I could, so there's like little balconies and stuff like that. And I did actually get a pool in here, unbelievably. I can't believe I got a pool in this, considering how much money I didn't have. You know, I had to pay for stairs and all sorts of things. So you know, all the furniture and stuff. So it is all sort of the cheap furniture, but yeah, it's a bit of fun. I love these challenges. It just gets you thinking outside of the box and pushes you a little bit with your building skills. It's definitely pushed me with my building skills, I can tell you that much. So here we go. We're getting the shape of the eventual duplex in happening. My words are escaping me, but as you can see, I've got the pool coming in there. So I mean, there was no room for a backyard or anything like that really, so I wanted to have like a little leisure area for them. And it is 2 older siblings, so you know, there are 2 adults going in there, and I think as adults you'd probably appreciate a pool more than a backyard. I mean, it depends on your sim, but I kind of thought that they would appreciate that more. So I've got my stairs going in there in the bottom. So, and the bottom floor is actually going to be a garage. So I thought that was a smart use of space. All things considered. So I was looking at options for what the garage door could be, and yeah, those garage door murals are great, but oh my, they are expensive, particularly when you're on such a tight budget. Like that was like 700, 600 simoleons or something like that each. So I was like, debug. I'm just going to use those free ones from debug. Thanks very much. Which I will replace them out later. So I'm just choosing my cars at the moment, and I think I'll put another car in the garage just to fill space as well, because filling the space was definitely a bit of a challenge in this build. And I definitely used the free terrain paint to paint as much as I could on the outside, because it's free and somebody didn't have much money. So I just trying to work out what I want to do with this front area and how that's gonna sit, because it is very much a duplex, so there needs to be a divide between them. You know, they're two different houses joined together. So so I'm just using the Eco Living wall decorations at the moment, just to have that little divide there. And if you just put them up with the wall, and then you can delete the wall in the middle, it's an easy way just to make it all hang up there in perfect order, I guess. If that's what I mean. It's an easy way of situating it. So just lifting up the roof there and deciding what I want to do with the colours and that sort of thing. So I did decide to go pretty plain and simple as far as that goes, as far as colours go, because I wanted it to be modern, and they can be quite muted as far as colours. So I mean, as far as the colour palette goes, so I went with like a mid-brown or sort of light brown and white. So kept it pretty plain and simple. And obviously I didn't have a lot of money to use anything expensive for paint or anything like that anyway. So I could have gone like the 2 simoleon route as far as that goes. Like, there is cheaper paints out there, but the Pure Expressions one is actually a lovely white. So I went with that. It's my favorite white paint in the cheaper range, because as you can see there, I'm just getting in some more of the vertical wall things from Eco Living, just to give a little bit of pop of colour to the building, because the majority of the building is going to be in white, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit with pops of the mid-brown as well. Sorry, I was just thinking about the fencing. I think you can get like a free version of that dining out fencing. I'm not sure if I use it or not. Maybe, but like it's free, which is I think one of the only. I mean, you can get like the other fencing, but I mean this is actual proper fencing that you can drag along. You don't like have to place separately like you do with the debug fencing. But I'm not sure if it's in debug or it's just a hidden item, or what the story is with that. I can't remember, but I'm sure it had a zero cost. Feel free to correct me in the comments. I can't remember. It was actually a little while ago that I did this build, but we had all the horse ranch stuff coming out, and I wanted to focus on that for a little bit, so I pushed this build back a little while. So I'm trying to remember what I did and how I did it. But I actually really loved the design of the building that I came up with. I think it actually looks really cool. I just wish I had more money to be able to do something really nice with it, but I don't know, maybe one day I can go back in and renovate it with like an unlimited budget, and I think that would be quite cool. So as you can see, I'm breaking up the white a little bit with the Retro Luxe wallpaper, which again is one of my favorite wallpapers, and it's a base game one too, so I mean that's rather handy. So that looks pretty cool. I'm really happy with the color palette. I think that suits the modern look and vibe of the property. So I'm just going through and deleting the insides so that we can work on the floor layout and that sort of thing. And we're going to get our staircases in, obviously, which are never cheap. I really hope I delete the undersides, because that saves a lot of money with stairs. And I'm just working out what I want to do with windows and stuff, but I really needed to go super cheap with these, as cheap as I could anyhow, because I've already mentioned this, I don't have much money. So I was just kind of working out how I wanted to do this and make it look, and because it is modern, I wanted to have the big wide panel windows, not not with the crossbars or anything on them, just sort of the big plain panes, which is not so easy to say. So yeah, so that's the look I was going for. I ended up using the Snowy Escape ones, I believe, there, rather than the Eco Living, so because I wanted to have like a little bit of show a little bit of the colour rather than having the whole of the wall kind of disappearing in the window. So that's why I chose the Snowy Escape rather than the Eco Living one, because they're both really cheap windows. They're both fantastic. I love those windows from those packs, but that's why I went for that. So we're at the stage of 31,000 simoleons, and I have finished most of the exterior. There's a bit of landscaping and stuff to come, but for the most part the exterior is taken care of. So now we're going to move to the inside of things. We have the stairs in place. I'm just filling up the garage down the bottom and just doing as cheap as I can in the garage because I don't really want to spend a lot of money on this. I'm doing free flooring at this stage. I'm not sure if I keep that, but free flooring made a big difference, because I mean, flooring itself, it's not cheap, and you know, for a 4-story building you're spending thousands of simoleons on just flooring. It's a nightmare. Anyhow, so I'm just making a little bit more cash back. I decided that I wanted to put a little bit like a kind of like a platform column in there, so that would be free for starters, because those other columns, they do get expensive because you're having to pay for the walls and that sort of thing, whereas with the platform column you don't have to pay for the walls. So I'm just putting another balcony in here and just shrinking the amount of space on the inside, basically just to save money. That's really the bottom line of it all. It's a money saving exercise, so yeah, that's what I'm doing. But I was quite happy with it. I mean, it is like a tiny gap between the platform and the building, but I decided just to live with that as an aesthetic choice of architectural wonder. Let's just pretend that's right. Okay, so now I'm thinking about windows, how they're going to go, and thinking about also the doors, getting those in there, and then we're going to have to work out what I'm going to do with the floor layout and yeah, how that's all going to go. So I'm just starting to lay it out with all of the cheap items, and so I'm just laying out with the cheap items just so I can get an idea for how it's all going to flow. So the floor below this is the garage, so we're going up from the garage into the kitchen, and it's going to be the living room as well. And each of the duplexes has like a different back to them on different levels, so I had to take that into account as well, just to try and make it as consistent as possible between the duplexes, although it's not 100% there. So this is me just having a look at it from that perspective, and I'll be able to put another room at the back of that, so that's going to have like a sneaky little bedroom going in there, and then on the right side duplex there'll be another sneaky bedroom going on the level above that, so it kind of keeps that kind of consistent as much as I could anyway. I mean, there's going to be differences between duplexes no matter what, but I did the best I could. So just looking at a bathroom and a bedroom up there on the 3rd floor, and then up on the 4th floor another bathroom and another bedroom up there as well. I don't know what I was thinking there. Maybe a wardrobe or something. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I can't quite remember what I did there. But I'm going for the cheapest possible furniture, stuff that's quite large and that will fill up, you know, quite a bit of space. Yeah, so I'm just going to try out a few different options as to what's going to work best within the space and still, you know, look decent. So I ended up actually just taking away the big square table. It was just, because it's actually not a really big space on that level, because you've got the kitchen, you've got a little bit of the dining table, and then you've got the living area. But yeah, it's not a huge space, and I was a bit worried about the accessibility if I had the big table there. So I decided to get rid of that and switch out the couches to the home decorating modular ones. That's the word I'm going for. And then I realized that's on the wrong side, so I've got to switch that over, move the door over, put it in the middle so I can access everything. And I do like that. What pack is that from? That couch, that other couch, the bougie couch. Is that Eco Living? I'm sure that's like Eco Living or something. It's a really cheap, nice couch. So it's one of my favorite cheap couches to go to as far as that goes. So I'm just working out what I'm going to do for the small windows for the kitchen, and ended up going with university ones, I think. Discover University, I think that's those. So just kind of doing it like the duplex, the whole idea with the living room and the kitchen, third floor. And putting in the first lot of windows into the bedrooms, and then I'm just working out what I want to do with the windows. And I actually ended up stacking these spa day windows, which is something I do like to do for bathrooms. I think that looks quite modern and cool, so I did that. Although a little bit expensive considering my budget, but I think at the end of the day it was kind of worth it for the expense because it looked good. I don't know, sometimes you just got to juggle price versus aesthetics and what's more important to you, and I think it was more important to me to have some pretty windows and make the build at least pretty on the outside than it was to save money on the inside. Oh, well, I actually think, considering the amount of money that I had, I did a decent job with filling the place up and not making it look like it's a half-empty wasteland of nothing. So there you go. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So each of the duplexes will have one single room and then 2 double rooms. So I think that's right. So it'll be like 6 bedrooms all up between the 2 houses. And I'm just working on the bathroom, but I can tell right now that that's, oh yeah, no, that's right. That's how it's going to work. And then because I had like a balcony upstairs on this level, I did have to do something different on the left side one, which is left side right now, but I'll probably turn that around and it'll be right side. But anyway, the one with the balcony there, now on the right side, I had to do that a little bit differently, just simply because of the fact I needed to have the door going out to that balcony area. So I'm just working out the second double bedroom, which is going to be up on the top floor, and what I wanted to do there. So what am I doing? Is it like a walk-in wardrobe? Yes, it's a walk-in wardrobe. Yeah. Okay, good. We've got 15,000 simoleons left. I have worked out my rooms, so I think that's something. I've just got to put the stuff in and just do it as cheap as possible, which is a bit sad, but oh, that's an expensive bath shower combo. That's a risk. Oh well, I guess it's a risk I was going to take. Oh, so in this bedroom down here, I did put in like a little half wall, and then yeah, decided to go full wall, and then I wanted to do something kind of like between the beds, just to do a little divider. So I kind of just made something up. And I did test it, and the Sims can walk past it okay. So it's got that half square space, which is what the Sims see. Yeah, you can see me testing it here just to make sure it's usable. So it is, which is great. I'm already down to like 11,000 simoleons, and I just thought I'd do like this really cute ivy curtain and just try to make it as cute as possible with as little money as I had. I know those beds aren't great either, are they? So yeah, well, it is what it is. But yeah, I just wanted to have sort of like a little divider in the middle of the room. So like one side is the bed, one side is the dresser, little dressing area and stuff. And something like the hanging too, so I can hang some clothes up. So it's like a little wardrobe that I've just made up. Is basically the gist of it. So there we go, some beautiful hanging clothes. And some shoesies going in there too. So I mean, you know, I think that's not too shabby. We're heading down towards 11,000, and we're getting quite a bit of furniture in the house. Fortunately, with this, because I wasn't doing a pack specific on this challenge. I was sort of building with what I've got. I could use like a lot of the cool cheaper stuff with packs that come with packs like, you know, your Eco Living and stuff like that, which has a lot of really good cheap items, and I can make the most of my budget. Whereas if, you know, I was building with just base game, it would be a lot more expensive and a lot harder to do, I think, because you don't have as many options, and a lot of them can be quite expensive as well, expensive options. So look, I mean, I'm even getting computers in here. I don't know if I keep them, but I'm putting a computer in here. So, you know, that's taking a big old risk with the old budget there. So I am decorating the single room on that side. So I think that's the, I don't know, right side or left side. I'm not keeping track. I keep turning around. And so just working out a few things there. Oh, there was something poking through the roof. That's why I had to lower it a little bit. That's a slight problem. Can't have stuff poking through the roof. Go a bit lower. There we go. And fixed. Gonna do the other side now. Get it a little bit lower so we're not poking through. And Control 9. Fixed. So, yeah, this is our walk-in wardrobes for upstairs. And because I had the windows, I actually realized that probably wasn't great for hanging stuff. Normally I would like have a mirror or something above there. Oh yeah, but I do put a mirror in. I remember this now because I had to go down a level and do that little fancy between level lift up mirror thing. And it took a little bit of fussing around to get there, but I got there with it. So you'll see me doing that now with the mirror, just trying to work out how to get a mirror into the space that I wanted. So what I did is I dropped down a level, and I just had to work out how many times I was going to hit Control 9, hit the 9 button to get into the right space. So that's just what I'm doing there, if you were curious. So yeah, that's a little trick. If you want to get the mirror sitting in the right place, if you are on a multi-level build, or you can build a basement below if you are on a single level build, and you go down that level, and then you just need to work out what height is going to sit out. Of course, I put that mirror in and then realized they were sticking out the sides, and I could have shrunk the mirror down, but then it was going to look weird. So yep, start again, and then the different size mirror was a different different amount of tapping up. So yeah, sorry, I'm going up and down with the mirror just until I get to the right place. I think it's like 20 or 30 or 40. I honestly can't remember, it's a while ago, but now the mirror is sitting in the right place, and I can keep my beautiful little windows in there as well, and it's a neat little walk-in wardrobe. And I'm just adding some couches to the bedroom and your end tables. So we've got the bathroom. So we're down to 5,000 simoleons, and I'm just filling up the last of the, I guess, the furniture in the build. So once you get the furniture in place, it's just a matter of spending what's left on decoration, really. And so there's a little sitting area up on the upper floor, and now I'm just working on lights. Unfortunately, because there's Sims in there, because I had to test it, yeah, some of the stuff that I had previously built before I took a break, I'm not getting the full value for selling for, so that's a little annoying. I hope that made sense. I know what I was trying to say. I don't know if I actually said it right, but you know how you buy something with a sim on a lot when you're building, and then you leave the build, and then you go back to the build, and then when you sell stuff that you previously built on the build, it's not to the full value of what the item's value is. Am I making it more confusing? I think I am. I know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm losing money, is the gist of that story. So I think we are at the stage where I am about to, I'm getting the lights in, obviously. I'm using the cheap eco lights because they're ones that I know don't cause problems. I'm so nervous about some of the lights in the Sims, simply because they sit down too low and it stops your Sims from doing things. And you know, I don't always catch it when I'm doing the play, the play check in the house just to make sure it's all workable, because you know, you don't necessarily think to check, can I walk under this light and will it stop me from doing something? So yeah, so I am nervous sometimes about the lights, so I quite often use a lot of the lights that I already know are fine, just because I'm comfortable with using them. Whereas yeah, like if I'm using, say, the new Growing Together lights or the new Horse Ranch lights, I mean, are they going to sit too low? You know, will it stuff up, you know, the bugs? I was looking at debug. Will it stuff up the sim from doing what they're going to do? Will it create a problem? And just, you know, because I want the build to be really playable. So yeah. Anyway, lighting kind of makes me nervous. So I'm in debug now, and we are going to start the landscaping, and then I think I'm going to skip through some of the debug's placement of items because they're hoarders. So it was something I did think about as far as hoarding went, and using debug for stuff that looked like it would be something they would hoard. You know, like your crates and barrels and knickknacks and, you know, stuff like that. So I mainly put a lot of that stuff in the garage because that kind of made sense to me, that they would put things away in the garage and have all their stuff that they haven't wanted to throw away hidden away in there. But I think I skipped through that because, I mean, it's just me placing stuff from debug, so you know, that's not the most exciting thing. I put 2 mailboxes in because it is a duplex, and in theory a duplex is a divided house between 2 different households, right? That's the theory of duplexes, unless I don't understand what a duplex is, which in that case I have failed the challenge because I've done it completely wrong. Anyway, so those garage doors are probably going to go soon, so that's going to get me a little bit more money back, because I'm looking at that money. I'm sitting on 1,300 simoleons, and yeah, I think I've still got some stuff to put in there. But I am going through debug at the moment and just seeing what I can do for landscaping and what I can use for hoarding and that sort of thing. Alright, so I think we're going to come back when we get towards the end of the build. So let me get some debug down and I'll show you what I've done. Alright, so I've done a bit of decorating, and here we are sort of getting towards the end of the build. I had to replace out some lighting. As you can see, I'm down to 188, 138. Basically, I've got no money left. So I had to make some changes along the way. I've sort of got the landscaping done. I've got bits and pieces all over the place, so little bits of clutter and that sort of thing, because our characters are hoarders. And I've done as much as I could with the free stuff that I could find, just to pretty the place up a little bit and make it look good. So I have some bits and pieces on the balconies, and here and this is the fencing I was talking about, the free fencing that comes with something. It's dine out fencing, but I don't know if it's like debug. I mean, I assume it's like debug or hidden item. I'm not sure what it is, but it's free and it's like draggable and that sort of thing, like normal fencing. So yeah, just as a hint, if you haven't discovered that fencing, yeah, very useful. I don't use it enough. It's because it's quite low fencing as well, so it's only sort of usable in certain builds, I imagine. But for this particular build, actually, because the color worked and the size was fine, yeah, I just sort of did that. So because I was able to change around the fencing, it gave me a little bit more money to use for some furnishing on the balconies, which is nice. And a little bit more furnishing on the inside as well, just to fill the place up and make it look like it was lived in and, you know, not half empty. So I'm back down to 43 simoleons again. The money goes so quickly, but I did get a good amount of bits and pieces around the place, and you can see like all this clutter and stuff in the garage. So it's all coming together really nicely, and I've done I added some of the home decorating shelves above the kitchen, and I put like clutter and stuff in there instead of using like the hanging cabinets, because they're expensive. So I'm just finding whatever I can that's free just to make it look decorated. So like all the free plants and stuff, anything in a pot, anything that's remotely usable, I'm just like, yeah. So you can see there in the kitchen, I did put some drinks in there, and when I sort of did the play in the house, I was like, oh, no, those are stinky. I found something that could go on the wall, so I was like, great, that can go on the wall, because I mean there's a lot of blank wall space and a lot of like floor space and that sort of thing to be filled, because you know, not all that much money, but I think I did all right. And I found some of the jungle adventure, not jungle living, jungle adventure vases are there in debug, and I'm just getting the garage door from debug now that I talked about earlier that I would change over, just because the ones that I was just trying out some different ideas, and I found this divider and I was like, I could use that for something. That's quite cool. So anyway, you'll see me playing around with that little divider because I thought that was quite modern and cool and free, so I could do something with that. So I did. So I used that in the basement, and I think I actually go and use that upstairs in the kitchen as well. Just once again, just a divider, save some money there. And voila. And I'll just make it even Stevens on both sides. So that was actually quite nice. It's free. It just got me a little bit more money back to spend on something else rather than on a half wall. And I think that's just, you know, something a little bit stylish. I was going to say something else. Oh, the garage doors. Yes, I will go back to those and replace those with the debug ones. When I'm doing the debug garage doors, I actually end up using 2 on each garage door. So you'll see me do that there, because when you put the garage door on one side, it's... Oh, and I discovered the postcards, it could make those bigger and use those as pictures on the wall. So I was like, that's handy. That's going to fill some of that blank wall space. So let's do that. Anyway, back to the garage door thing. So I used one on the outside, and then I reverse it and use one on the inside as well, because when you put the debug garage door up, it doesn't actually show through to the other side, which I think is kind of weird, because a garage door is on both sides, right? So, because it's a door. Anyway, so that's why I do that. If you're wondering when I get to that at some point in the future, if I ever find the door, there it is. So you'll see me do that. I'll put it on the outside, and then I'll turn around and put it on the inside. And then I had to shrink it down. Oh, that's right. There was a reason I had to use that, because it was too high. So I was looking at door options instead, because because of the height between the house and the next floor up, because it's a low walls rather than medium-sized walls, which I think those debug garage doors are designed for, I couldn't actually use the debug garage doors. So never mind on that whole debug garage door story. I ended up using those doors instead, which did show through. Yeah, I forgot about that. The fact that the walls were lower, and that garage door wasn't going to work there. Because I mean, that's sort of the only thing with using the lower walls rather than the taller walls, is that little problem. But I mean, you know, it's not a major, you can always work around it. There's always a solution. And I'm just putting like a bit of sandy colouring in the terrain paint, just to add that sort of beachy feel. And I tried to use like palm trees and that sort of thing, just to maybe make it feel like it was a beach house that's a few streets back from the beach. So anyway, let's take a tour of what we did. So this is around the back of the house, so you can see we've got the balconies and stuff running up there, and a bit of break in colour with the wall, vertical wall hanging thingies. So this is the upstairs bedroom 1 in one of the duplexes, and then the second one and the next one are up. The next bedroom is down here. Sorry. And the third floor. So we got 4th floor was the last ones, and then the 3rd floor, and now we're down to the 2nd floor. So this is one of the 2nd floor kitchens, and then there's the next kitchen over, looking through to the living room. This is one of the living room areas. I didn't bother about showing too much of both sides. I mean, they're kind of the similar, just mixed around. It's one of the single bedrooms there. It's the other side, one of the living rooms, and then into the kitchen and living room there. So, you know, look, I was pretty happy with that. One of the garages and all the clutter and bits and pieces through there, and our little divider, and one of our cars. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!